I have a new knife to review, and the cat is inspecting it too, so please stick around. Welcome back, everyone. So, I've been waiting a while to get my hands on one of these and do a review. I'm so excited. Look at this. Very plain box. Made in the Ukraine. And as you can see, we're going to be looking at the HK5 BPS knife with leather sheath, and it's still sealed. All right, let's unseal it, shall we? I'm really excited. These knives from this company is a nice alternative if you don't want a Mora. Ooh, look at that. Let me zoom out just a little bit. All done up. And nothing else in the box. Okay. As I was saying, these are a nice alternative to a Mora if you don't want a Mora. They're really reasonably priced. That's the other thing that kind of blew me away, was the pricing for a handmade knife not from China or Asia in general. Okay. Sorry I'm doing some of this off camera. It's just a little bit easier for me. So there's the leather sheath. That's quite heavy leather. While I'm not a fan of these dangler type sheaths, that is quality right there. Good stitching. Yeah. Okay. Get this knife unwrapped, because they got it saran wrapped to hell and back. I just hope there's no rust, because that is one thing I have seen about these knives in a few reviews, is that sometimes they come a little rusty. It's a high carbon steel blade. I'll give you some specs here in a minute. Okay. It's all covered in oil, so I don't see no rust. Look at that. Let me get some paper towel. I'm going to clean her up a little bit. I'll bring you right back and we'll get into it. I got her all cleaned up. I only noticed one little imperfection. I got a little divot right there. I don't know if you can see that. Right there in the blade. I don't know if that's coming through on the camera or not. Yeah, right there. Okay, a really sharp 90-degree spine. You know, this part here where the grinding was done to create these finger grooves, it's a little rough. You can run your fingernail over it and feel it's a little rough. It's got walnut scales, and those screws protrude just a little bit higher than the scales, but in hand it's not bad. It's not bad at all. You can see, we'll give you a nice long look at that handle. It feels extremely sharp. Scandi grind. Alright, now for the specs. Total length, 9.9 inches, or 250 milliliters, or, I'm sorry, 250 millimeters. Boy, milliliters, I'm out of my mind today. Blade length, 5.1 inches, or 130 millimeters. Handle length, 4.8 inches, or 120 millimeters. Blade width is 1.2 inches going this way, or 30 millimeters. Blade thickness 0.11 of an inch, or 2.7 millimeters thick. You know, looking at it this way. Weight without sheath 5.5 ounces, or 155 grams. Weight with sheath 8 ounces, or 225 grams. They have a list of key features here: durable and robust, full tang knife, bushcraft knife, genuine leather sheath, true Scandi grind, 1066 high carbon steel blade with a hardness of 59 to 60 Rockwell, crazy sharp out of the box, natural walnut wood handle, Danish oiled, spear point blade shape, well balanced, made in Ukraine. Alright, let's see about that balance, shall we? So that's about the balance right there. That ain't bad. That man, that spine is so 90 degree. I mean, watch this. I'm gonna take my fingernail here. I don't know if you can see that. Those shavings are from my fingernail. Right there. So yeah, this is going to be able to strike a ferro rod. You can use this with a stick to make some fuzzies for fire making. Oh yeah. It's, you know, it's a decent handle. It could use a little bit more refinishing. If you're the type of person that wants perfection out of the box, this might not be the knife for you. These are a little rough, but I kind of like that. I kind of like that because it allows me to do a little bit of finish work and make the knife more my own. Okay? There's no jimping here. Could add some, not a big deal. Now, what do we got here on the blade? It says BPS Knives Carbon Steel. Now, there is another version of this shape made in stainless, and for once I decided not to go with the stainless, and I went with the high carbon. And current price on Amazon is $29.95, which I think is a steal. That is a great knife. Okay, let's see how it looks in the sheath. I'm not a big fan of these kind of sheaths, but yeah, it fits well. You're not gonna lose it out of that sheath. The reason I'm not a big fan of these dangler type sheaths is this buckle right here is potentially a weak point. It's bent over on itself right in there. That's where it joins, and it's not soldered. I don't know if you can see that. This is not soldered together, so if you had accidentally put enough stress on this, potentially you might be able to unbend that and lose your knife. Okay, let's see if it's sharp. Now, I've been doing a lot of my sharpness tests right here on my arm, and it's getting a little bald. So let's go and do the other arm, shall we? Redneck sharpness test. Oh yeah. Holy smokes, that's all I need to do. Look at all that hair on the blade. See that? All that hair? That was on my arm. Yeah, it's sharp. It is shaving sharp. Let's try some phone book paper, shall we? Wow. Okay, I think that's one of the sharpest knives out of the box I've ever messed with. Wow. Just wow. That is sharp. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to have fun with this. Now, I've said in other videos, I'll say it again, I'm not the biggest fan of high carbon steel. You really got to pay attention, take care of it, and you don't ever want to store it long term in a leather sheath. It will rust on you. Alright, let's check the weights. Alright, get everything set here. Alright, let's do pounds first. Just the knife. Coming in at 6 ounces, just the knife. Specs are 5.5, so it's a little bit heavier than what the specs say. In grams. Hey, James, I'm in the middle of... There's a lot of sharp objects up here, cat. Come on. Jeez, oh, Pete's cat. Sorry about that, folks. Crazy cats. Okay. 169 grams. Specs is 155. So it's a little bit heavier than the specs. Let's do sheath. With sheath, 244 grams. Specs say 225. In pounds, 8 5/8. Well, specs say 8 ounces. So, not too shabby, not too shabby. Wow. Well, let's do some other fun knife stuff, shall we? The wind is howling, so I'm not going outside to do some knife stuff. I decided to run outside real quick, grab some sticks off the wood pile, and we're going to do it inside and hopefully keep all the garbage in here so I can dump it out. Wow. Wow. This thing is stupid sharp. Okay, let's try that 90-degree spine. Oh, look at those. Really fine. Like a little bit of shavings. Oh, let me turn that light on. You might not be able to see what I'm doing. There we go. Got the cats coming in here investigating. Here you go, James. Quality control. The two quality control experts, James and Kira. Does that meet your quality control standards? Okay, good. No, you don't need to get in here. Come on. Alright, so it cuts very well. It's very sharp. This 90-degree spine is no joke. I mean, that spine is so sharp. Look at those nice curls. They're paper thin. Whoops. So if you needed to do some curls, you know, let's see if we can get some feathers going. Oh, thing is so sharp, I'm just blowing through everything. There we go. Get a little bit more control. So, yeah. All right. Let's try. I gotta make sure I'm in camera here. Let's try to. You know what? Let's make a tent stake out of this, shall we? Cats are running around, all except Kira. She's right over here off camera watching everything going on, because that's how my cats are. They're too curious. Okay, got our end. I'm thinking right about here. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Scandi grinds, but this blade is kind of changing my mind on it. All that scurrying you hear is cats off camera having fun. Okay. Think right about there. Now this is bone dry wood, so it's pretty hard. If you were doing this out of green wood, it'd be a lot easier. Okay, there is a primitive tent stake, and that will work out real well. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Well, as big as this blade is, this thing is begging to be batoned. Unfortunately, I'm not going outside right now. Nope. So, hopefully in the next few days, that wind will calm down. I'll be able to go outside, and we will baton with this. Hello, James. Come here. And we will be able to do some batoning. And then I'll give you my final thoughts on this knife. Outside, it's about 18 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, not a lot of snow. I wish I would get some more and it would stay. And I've got a piece of black walnut. It's about 2 inches in diameter. Got our HK5 and our mallet. So let's see if we can baton some wood. It did that like a champ. And this is, I'd say, pretty close to being seasoned wood off my wood pile. Oh yeah. That's doing a great job. Well, no deformation or rolling of the edge. It looks perfect, other than just being a little dirty. The HK5 batoned like a champ. I have a piece of wood here. It's roughly an inch, a little bit over an inch, maybe 1.25 inches. And I decided, let's try some cross batoning. Let's see if I can force this to cut this off. That's going to be a real test. Oh yeah. No deformation of the edge. Yep, looks good. No deformation of the edge. Held up like a champ. And trust me, this wood is hard. It is very hard, but look at that. Gotta say, I'm not a big fan of carbon steel blades, but I might be turning to the dark side with this one. It's still good and sharp. There we go. I found your sweet spot. Yep, good and sharp. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Let's try to perform a little back work. So just off the spine there, you could produce some nice stuff for fire making. Just off that bark, that would catch a spark. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's go in the house and clean the blade up, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Back inside, I got the blade cleaned up. There's one more thing I want to look at, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts. These scales, they're pretty nice, you know, for what it is. They're walnut. So I went and I got my Allen wrench set here, metric. This is a 2.5 millimeter Allen, and we're going to see if this has any other holes in the tang. I'm kind of curious. There we go. Kind of curious to see how this this guy is set up. All right. Okay, it looks like the only holes they put in it is the holes that's necessary for its function. No finishing, that's just the raw steel. Well, while I have this apart, I'm going to put mineral oil on this tang, and it doesn't matter if the wood absorbs it a little bit, but it's just to an anti-rust prevention. And I can see a little bit of discoloration on the blade right there. I don't know if you can see that. That looks like the beginnings of rust underneath the scales. Okay, do the other side. Oh yeah, there we go. I mean, you don't have to put it on heavy. We're just talking a real light coat of mineral oil, just like that. Okay, now let me grab a paper towel here, wipe my hands off. If you have a knife like this, it's a high carbon steel and the handle scales are removable. Every once in a while, you're going to want to, when you're doing maintenance, you're going to want to do this. Otherwise, you're going to have rust, and rust can sneak in anywhere, will start to form. Okay. I really like that you're able to remove the scales on this too. There we go. You want to tighten these, but not over tighten them. You don't want to split your scales. Alright. Now, previous to this, I already wiped the blade down with a nice coating of mineral oil, so the blade will not easily rust. But that's something to think about when you're dealing with carbon steel. Now, final thoughts. I'm impressed. I'm not only impressed by the quality of it, the quality isn't perfect. You know, it's got some imperfections. We have that divot right there. It's very small. Let me see if I can zoom in on that with the camera. It's just a micro divot, but it catches the eye for me. Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to get it in focus, and it's really... You see it right there? Right there. It's just a tiny little divot. Anyway, you know, fit and finish on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, this is between an 8.5 and a 9. Okay? If you're looking for, if you want to pull a knife out of a package and have it be factory perfect, this might not be the knife for you if you're a real perfectionist. I like it. Back here near the lanyard hole, there's some sharp edges. Watch this. See that? That's how sharp this is right here. I actually scraped my fingernail. That's sharp enough that you could scrape stuff with. Well, that's not really ideal if you're wearing this on your hip and that's rubbing against your clothing. That will abrade a hole in your clothing. So if you get one of these knives and you're not happy with the fit and finish, you might have some sanding and other modifications in your future. But for the price, good Lord. For me, it's a win. You got a very nice large blade profile. You know, it's inexpensive. It's an amazing deal. I'm really impressed. I'm so impressed. I have already been looking at other BPS knives. I found another model I'm interested in. I've already ordered it. It's on its way. And that's something else I want to talk about in my final thoughts. If you're watching the news at all, internationally, you know, everybody's talking about what could happen between Russia and the Ukraine. Now, I try not to bring up any politics at all on my channel. My channel's not about politics. My channel is about gear and the outdoors. But I gotta say this. If you're interested in these knives, you might want to buy one now. Because if a war breaks out, the supply of these knives that are in the US for sale is going to dry up, and you might miss your chance at getting one. Or worse, the remaining supply, the prices shoot through the roof. I mean, right now, this costs less than a tank of gas in my truck. That's impressive. That's very impressive. I mean, you saw I batoned wood out there, and that wood could be frozen, and I didn't roll an edge at all. Took it like a champ. So I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It really gets my approval, and the minor imperfections here kind of inspire me. There's some stuff I want to do to this knife. So you might be seeing this knife later on in a Myog. I'm not going to say exactly what I'm going to do, but you'll see. Stick around and find out. But until then, I will see you later on in the woods. Thank you for watching.